Hey friends, with the recent release of Dawntrail as well as the release on Xbox a few months ago, I've been watching a lot of new players playing on controller. I've been playing Final Fantasy XIV since all the way back on PS3, so I wanted to make a video to share my hotbar settings as well as a few tips that I think will be useful. Don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on notifications for more Final Fantasy XIV content. Okay, so here we are, I've got my hot crossbar set up. This is on Sage, this is my main job, so I'm just going to go through a couple of points that I think will be helpful. The first thing is about the double hot crossbar. So in the character settings, under hotbar settings in cross, so Final Fantasy's got two types of hotbars. There's regular hotbars and then cross hotbars. Cross is for controllers, so these are the settings that you want to be paying attention to. What I'm using here is, in this section near the bottom, always display WXHB. This is the double hot crossbar. So this means that you'll have one hotbar along the bottom and then a second hotbar above, which is always displayed. Together with that, you want to have the settings, or the settings that I use, and then here under custom you want to select enable WXHB with simultaneous L2 and R2 double tap with enable directional and action buttons selected. I want to have both of these selected to cross hotbar 2 with the left side on left and the right side on right. What this means essentially is that I can double tap L2 to bring up this hotbar 2 left side, or double tap R2 to bring up this hotbar on the right side. I find this very useful. I find this much more useful than switching between hotbars in the middle of combat. I've watched some videos of people where they're switching like this, they're switching all the time between their hotbars in the middle of the combat, and I find it quite difficult to focus on that at the same time as the mechanics. And I also find it useful to have the second hotbar displayed because you can see the cooldowns of your moves. And for me, if I can't see the cooldowns, then I'm going to forget that they exist completely. So I like to have everything on the screen that I can see, and I like to be able to quickly tap L2 and R2 to be able to get to them. The next thing that I want to go over is about the shared hotbars. So again, under character settings, hotbar settings here, the second tab here is sharing. So we're not worrying about the hotbar settings, we're only looking at cross hotbar. Down here I have hotbars 7 and 8 shared, just these two. So what the sharing means is that regardless of what job you're playing on, the hotbars 7 and 8 will stay fixed. So these are the hotbars that I'm going to be putting on things like sprint or teleport or return or mount or things like that. So anything that I'm going to be using regardless of the job, I'm going to be putting on hotbars 7 and 8. I'm really not using 7 to be honest, I'm mostly just using 8, but there are sometimes a little bit of overflow, so I have both of these set here. So together with that, here under the custom tab, I have enable expanded controls with L2 and R2 selected. L2 to R2 would go to cross hotbar 8 on the left side, and then R2 to L2 go to cross hotbar 8 on the right side. This sounds complicated, but basically what this means is by holding L2 first and then R2, it will bring up cross hotbar 8, the left side. So you can see here now I've got 8 commands here. I've got sprint, mount, return, teleport, things like this. I've got the limit break, I've got Giesel greens, stuff like that. And then if I do it the other way, so I do R2 first and then L2, it will bring up the other side of cross hotbar 8. So here you can see I've got some more mounts, I've got the ether compass, I've got a few text commands, I've got materia extraction, things like that. So this way you can actually have 16 different commands here just by pressing these two buttons depending on the order that you press them. I find this really, really useful because I switch between a lot of different jobs, and I always want to be able to quickly access limit break, I always want to quickly access sprint, things like that. So I really recommend using this feature. Another important tip that I think probably a lot of people who play on controller sort of innately pick up but maybe don't realize is that when you're playing on a controller, when you're moving, you're using your left thumb to move around and obviously your right thumb to control the camera. So what that means is any moves that you want to use while you're actually moving around, you have to have on the right side of the hotbar. So for example, if I want to cast Eucrasian Diagnosis while I'm running around, then it needs to be on the right side here, so I have it on the right. Same with maybe Eucrasian Dosis over here. Maybe you need to cast this while you're doing a big pull. So anything that you want to cast while you're moving, you need to have on the right side. It's not possible to just have everything on the right side because there isn't enough space. So play it by ear with what you think you're going to want to use. This is especially useful for in dungeons, maybe as a tank if you want to use your ranged attack, or provoke. You want to be using those while you're on the move, while you're pulling large packs of mobs, then maybe consider having those on the right side. And that can be on the right side of the left side or the right side of the right side, if you know what I mean. As long as you're using your right thumb, then you're going to be able to do it while you're moving. Lastly, I want to go over just a couple of convenient inputs that I think are useful for all players, which I think a lot of people probably already know, but there might be something in here which might help somebody. So firstly, zooming in and out. You can zoom in and out by holding down L1 and then moving the right joystick up and down. So I really like this for taking screenshots and, you know, zooming out to see more of the field so that you can actually see the mechanics that are going on. So this is really useful. So pressing L3 will draw your weapon, and pressing R3 will move into first person mode. Pressing R3 also, when you have a window open, will change the size of the window, and this will cycle between the sizes, so you can just keep doing it to get to the size that you want. You can also hold down L1 and press the PlayStation button in the middle to remove the HUD. So I use this a lot if I'm taking screenshots, or sometimes if you just want a really cinematic view of a limit break or something like that, you can just quickly remove the HUD to get that shot. And then finally, something that I didn't realize until I've been playing this game already for like 7 or 8 years, if you hold down circle, you can walk. I didn't know this for a long time, and I would always try to just walk slowly using the joystick and accidentally run, but you can just hold down circle to walk. There are a lot more settings that you can do with the cross hotbar. Honestly, under the hotbar settings here, there's a bunch of things that you can look at, that you can change. There's things to do with PvP and PvE. There's a lot of things that you can do, so I recommend like having a look through and testing some things out. There's also more settings under the system configuration, under wireless controller settings. So here's where you can see some of the settings about zooming, auto run, etc. So I definitely recommend having a look in here. Well, that's everything I had for this video. Let me know if I missed anything. If you have any other recommendations or suggestions, please let me know in the comments, and I'll see you all again next time. Thanks for watching.